Welcome to Thursday, March 12th, and welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, it was about a year ago, folks, we were staring down this. Remember this? This was the March 13th blizzard of 2019. Now, thankfully, we're not staring anything like that down right now for the next couple of days, but we've got a lot of wintry weather and unsettled weather to talk about. That's just an amazing photograph. That was the bomb cyclone. I think they named that Ulmer, Winter Storm Ulmer last year, that had such a big impact on our weather. That was almost a year ago to the day. Let's take a look, though, at what's coming. Now, last night and early this morning, we did see snow up in northern Wyoming, central Wyoming, and we have rain and snow showers coming down into the divide. Some colder air is moving on through. I want to show you this forecast chart of precipitation that's good through Sunday to show you the activity that's picking on up. We're going to have an area of low pressure that's going to be swinging up out of Southern California and Arizona and tracking this way Friday and into Friday night. And this is going to bring the next round of moisture. This right here is going to be some light to moderate snowfall across portions of western Nebraska, parts of eastern Colorado, far eastern Colorado, and parts of southeastern Wyoming right here. This area right here, going to be looking at some light snow accumulations Friday night, ending Saturday morning, some areas of fog as well. The mountains will be picking up some more snow in this weather pattern as well, with Yellowstone Park and the northwest mountains of Wyoming really getting into the act here with this next system. There's going to be some good mountain snow building in the days ahead. So this is the first system. We don't expect a ton of snow. Here is the snow forecast. You can see that we're generally talking about 1 to 3 inches of snow on the plains, with Nebraska, South Dakota, parts of Kansas, extreme eastern Colorado having the best chance of snow, as well as the mountains, lighter amounts elsewhere. But this is a trend, a pattern that is beginning to change and get more busy. Really, the first 10, 11 days of March haven't been bad. Temperatures have been pretty mild. We haven't had any really big bad storm system like that picture I showed you earlier. But we do see things definitely getting more active. So Friday and Friday night, be ready for a little bit of winter weather. Nothing too bad for the region. Now, this is the system that's coming up. This is the forecast for tomorrow morning. We've got this low coming up out of Southern California. This low here off British Columbia is going to kick this one out this way. It's going to end up getting absorbed by the jet stream and dissipating, moving on through. But this guy right here, combined with the fact that we've got building high pressure in the Gulf of Alaska and this big high in the southeast United States, this guy right here is going to be the troublemaker, the instigator for what's going to be a very complicated weather forecast this weekend and next week. Going forward, this is Saturday afternoon. You can see the low is just off the Oregon and Northern California coast. And then by Wednesday, it slowly moves down the coast. It really doesn't move very much. And that means it's going to be bringing wet weather to the West Coast where they need it. But this system is going to throw moisture this way constantly through the first half of next week and over the weekend. What this will mean is that Utah, Idaho, and extreme western Wyoming into western Montana, this area here, the mountains are going to be fed snow. So Yellowstone Park, the Jackson area, some of the Wasatch Front, you're going to get into some waves of moisture coming in over the weekend and into the start of next week from this storm. Now, east of the Continental Divide, it actually looks like this weekend and maybe into Monday, there really won't be a lot of action east of the mountains here, at least early in this forecast period. But then as we go further out, this is by Thursday morning. I want to go back to this last frame here. We've got this big low here. We've got another one dive bombing in before it, after it. We talked earlier this week of something that's called Henry's rule, where one low will kick out the other. So as this one comes down, it's going to want to make this one move, but the computer modeling's having some difficulty. This is to be expected. The difficulty arises as this low here actually wants to try to merge with this one. Now, sometimes that happens, but what we have here is the model saying, well, let's merge the storm, but also let's maybe kick this one out. And then this one dives in behind it. So what I'm showing you here is a very complex area of low pressure in the western states that's going to develop next week. The thing to remember, it's large, it's moist, it's slow moving. And what we have to figure out is, as this low, it is either going to eject and become a stronger storm system east of the divide, heading into Wednesday night, Thursday, or Friday, or it's going to end up merging and stalling out here and not making much penetration east. This usually doesn't happen, the latter, meaning it gets absorbed and it becomes a large storm. Usually it's going to kick one out. So our current thinking is right now is that the front range of Colorado and Wyoming, western Nebraska and western Kansas, I think we need to keep an eye on the Wednesday night, Thursday time frame of next week in terms of a larger low ending up right here and having a bigger impact, with this guy coming in down here, and we've got to deal with this guy later. This storm is something we'll probably have to deal with 2 or 3 days after this one. The end result is a really active weather pattern, and we're going to have to earn our keep as weather forecasters to try to get next week's forecast nailed down. But this pattern we talked about earlier this week, where you have high pressure in the Gulf of Alaska, high pressure in the southeastern United States, all of your stormy weather is going to be out west. We just have to figure out what the details are going to be. The 15-day forecast is showing a lot of precipitation. Look at all the orange. Look at all the yellow. This is a 2-week period through March 27th. So this is a big change from the relatively dry start to March that we've seen before. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. We'll have more for you on Friday. Hopefully a better understanding of next week's weather.